Good evening. My name is Tracy Dickens. I am currently looking at the proposal of the disconnect of professional learning communities in school, and I was able to find a article on a couple of obstacles that may come our way as a teacher when we're trying to conduct a professional learning community within our school. The article that I chose for my presentation is called The PLC Startup Learning from the Trenches by William Tolley, and it was from the Professional Learning Reimagined, Volume 9, Issue 16, written May 8th, 2014. The purpose of this article is to not only know and understand the steps in creating a functional PLC, but to see what obstacles could possibly create a disconnect between the PLC and the school. I would first like to revisit what is a PLC. Professional learning communities, or PLC, are supposed to support the school by providing educators with time to meet collaboratively and share their expertise and ideas of improving teaching skills and academic performance of the students. According to William Tolley, getting a PLC started requires four steps. One, administrative free zone. Two, a place that needs the unreserved support of administrators. Three, not going at it alone, which means working together teacher wise. And four, building a shared mission, vision, goals, and values. So, with those great steps that he provided us for, and with other PLC steps that we've all heard, why is there still such a disconnect between PLCs and its implementation and the theory of how it's supposed to work within our schools? This article is chosen because it gives a different insight on why PLCs are not effective in schools. Tully has four obstacles that may contribute to the reason why there is a disconnect with PLCs in their schools. The four obstacles that Tully mentions in this article is one, and I will further explain them later on in the PowerPoint, is number one, that you can't always get what you want when there's a lack of consistency and a lack of follow through. Number two, lack of initiative. Three, the man. And four, the mob. And like I said, I'll go and further explain these in the PowerPoint. The first obstacle you don't always get what you want is the price paid for administrative autonomy is the lack of administrative authority. When starting a PLC, you will have to accept that your initiative will be competing with all of the other responsibilities overworked teachers already face. So that means that the administrators may see it being a lack of consistency, which can be the participation of the staff, or the lack of follow through, which can be the lack of the interest of the staff in a new implementation of a session or a new program. Also, you can see this when the administrators need to be able to um, give the authority to teachers to run these PLCs, because as a teacher, we are in the classroom and we know our students and what will work best for our students. So the administrators need to be able to give up their power and be able to trust that the teachers are going to ensure that they are coming up with the best strategies or implementation of any um, activities that may work or may not work for the students, and increasing their knowledge of the material that is provided for them. The second reason for the disconnect in a PLC in its school. It's when the lack of initiative. This is when a PLC session is useful, but the responsibility of preparing, planning, and leading the lesson is not completed due to the lack of time. As teachers, we always talk about how there's not enough time to make sure that we are reaching all our students with grading paper or extra paperwork from the office, all types of things that may come in our way. So when we are exposed or in our PLC where we're trying to learn something new, we always may complain at times, or you may hear complaints that there's just not enough time to prepare and plan these new lessons or these new programs that you want teachers to implement in their classroom. So, with that being said, there's just a lack of initiative from the teachers and just the lack of just wanting to do it in the classroom. The third obstacle that may happen in a PLC is the man. No matter what you say, and no matter the agreed upon norm of the community, you may find some teachers attend your PLCs because they feel they will be judged if they do not. Some teachers sense a trap and enthusiastically attend meetings to avoid the snare. Looking at how sensitive the current environment can influence and or place judgment on administrators and bolsters our conviction that the best PLCs are teacher run. So, what they're saying is that a lot of teachers feel the need to attend PLCs, especially if it's an option. In many schools, it can be an option to attend PLCs, and teachers then find that if they don't attend, that they'll be frowned upon by the administrators and not seen as a teacher that wants to help their students. In other schools, PLCs are mandatory. And so a lot of teachers may feel that the administrators are not respecting their time and trying to plan when they have to attend these extra meetings on top of the meetings that they already have to be a part of. So this is why they call the administrative the man. Either way, they feel like they are doomed, or doomed either way. Either they don't attend and they get frowned upon, or they do attend and they feel like their time is not being used to the best way. And last but not least, the last obstacle that totally discusses about PLCs and its disconnect is the mob. Now, this happens when sometimes wonderful professional colleagues will be anything but. The demands of teaching can be overwhelming, and at times, stressors converge with a PLC turns into the mob. Colleagues can have a range of complaints about technology, the lack of support, time, and unreasonable expectations, just to name a few. We all been in many PLCs where it has just been a bash session about how things may not work, how things will work, and this is very frustrating for those that are redelivering or ahead of the PLCs, and they're trying to teach teachers new things to implement in their classroom, but as a teacher, you're frustrated at times, and you don't want to. At times, after a long day, you don't want to hear anything new to be implemented again into the classroom. So this can in, make up the mob, as they call, just unhappy teachers with trying to not wanting to implement or hear what the PLC has to offer or what they're trying to do for the students. Not that they don't want to, but they just have these other stressors that are, you know, put on them to where they're not able to, fully implement the new program to the best of their ability. And as a teacher, we all do want to put our best foot forward as we expect our students to do the same. I would like to end with this quote from William Tolley: PLCs are not for you. And of course, he's saying the teachers. We know that PLCs are there for the students and increasing their academic knowledge, scores, whatever that is that our goal is for the PLC. As teachers, we are working together with our strategies and our expertise and working together to make sure that we are reaching all our students with the best of our knowledge, to make sure that they are able to use their knowledge in any useful way as they can. So, as educators, we need to be able to work together and ensure that we are implementing and running our PLCs to the best of our ability. So, we are making sure that we are reaching everyone, teachers, administrators, and students in our community, to know that we are doing the best that we can. So, we have to work on the PLCs and how we're implementing them to make sure that there is not much of a big disconnect between its implementation and its theory and how it's supposed to run.